Hello everybody and welcome to Third Beard Fishing. In today's video I'm going to be showing you my setups for shark fishing on the beach with spinning rods, as well as shark fishing in the river for nighttime fishing. I'm going to show you how I set everything up, how I do it my way for by myself fishing, and then how I do it when I'm actually fishing with somebody during the nighttime. So I hope you guys enjoy this. This will be some tips that might help you guys. Maybe you'll want to use some of the tips that I have. Maybe it'll help you. I hope you guys enjoy this, and let's get into it. Before we begin this awesome video, I want to show you guys something. My views are mostly from non-subscribers, about 86%. So if you guys are watching this and you are not subscribed, please take the time to subscribe. It really helps out the channel, and I greatly appreciate your subscription. Now, back to this awesome video. Alright folks, so this is the actual setup that I use when I'm fishing on the beach. I generally am fishing for sharks. I'm not targeting giant ones because I can't get my baits out past the breakers to really go for big sharks, and I also don't really have the gear set up for really gigantic ones. Now that doesn't mean that big ones can't come up to the beach side and actually take the bait that I'm running, but you know, things happen and you can't actually make what you want hit the bait that you have. But I'll show you my setup here. I have a really fairly heavy duty rod holder here. You're going to want something thick that's going to hold up. Personally speaking, the rod holder itself, the metal is wonderful. I love it. It holds up to really heavy sharks. I've caught up to 8-foot lemons on it so far, and there's not even a bend in it, and it's great. The only thing I don't like is the plastic. This was purchased at Bass Pro Shop. I will probably be upgrading eventually. We'll just have to see. I don't know. But yeah, so that's the rod holder I would recommend if you're going for big sharks. It's something similar to that. As far as a setup, this would be minimum if you're going for something big. This is a Penn Spin Fisher 8500. It's got 65-pound braid on it. You can go up to a bigger braid if you want to, but personally I would do 65. I haven't had any issues with it. This is on a 8-foot Talus PX Shimano high power rod. This sucker, I'm telling you, if you get one of these and you hook into a big shark, you don't have to worry about this thing breaking. It is super strong. It's amazing. Like, I wrench back on this thing and it bends over super far, and I never feel like I'm going to lose it. It's amazing. So here's another rod that I use for sharks, and I've actually, the last few sharks I've caught they've been smaller black tips and Atlantic sharp nose sharks, and this rod's been sufficient for them, but I wouldn't really recommend shark fishing for them too much. They're not they're probably the bottom of the line as far as Penn goes. These are Penn Wraths 5000s. They do okay, but they're not sealed, so you get salt water in them and it's going to cause all kinds of internal issues, and you're not going to have a good day. So I need to upgrade, and I'm going to, and I'm probably going to upgrade higher than a 5000 anyway, because I really want to get some bigger reels anyway. But these are sufficient for what I'm doing right now. These are not sufficient shark fishing rod holders by any stretch of the imagination, but it's what I got, and it's what I'm using them for. I just have my drag a little bit looser. So yeah, so I'd usually run smaller baits on this smaller rod and much closer to shore. I mean, if you get a big shark anyway on this, it's just going to break off, and you're going to know pretty quick. My final setup that I have is another one of the Penn Wraths here, 5000s, but I put a pompano rig on here, and I'm always fishing either sand fleas and fish bites, or shrimp and fish bites, or even little tiny cut pieces of mullet, because I'm always trying to catch bait fish. whether it be whiting, or, you know, mahara, or whatever I can catch that I might be able to use for bait, because shark fishing, live bait is a really good thing. So that's what I like to do. I always like to have one rod out for that. Alright, so here's another tip and something I have learned, especially with fishing by yourself. I have another sand spike here, and this one is really short, so if I bury it in the sand, it goes really deep, and the rod's actually really low in the sand, so I don't like it for that. So what I use this one for is for my shark tools. I use them for my bolt cutters. You always have to have bolt cutters on hand if you do get a shark, especially prohibited species. You got to get that thing unhooked, especially in the water. You can't get them out of the water. And obviously I also have a de-hooker always on hand, and I have that close to the water and close to my rod, so I can always grab them when I see something happening. And yeah, so I get it close, and I may actually move this closer. I may move that up parallel to the rods, or even in front of it. So we'll see what I do, but I'm still testing this out. But so far, I really like having these tools really close. It's been really helpful. So that's my setup for beach fishing. I hope that helps you guys. Hope maybe you got some tips off that, and that'll be something that you guys can use going forward. And yeah, so now I'm going to show you my nighttime river fishing for sharks setup. Alright folks, so let's go over the nighttime fishing, the setup that I've got for river fishing, and well, basically bank fishing that's not at the beach. So first of all, I have my smaller rods. I will be replacing these soon. I'm running into some issues with them. You guys saw these on the first part of the video on the beach, but I actually use these awesome rod holders. They're metal actually, and I'll put a link in the description to what these are. Most people use these for catfishers. Catfishermen use these. I use them too on the bank, and they're awesome. They actually make some that are longer that people use for shark fishing, which is really cool. But I usually have two small rods set up, which, like I said, I'll be replacing those soon. So I've got those set up, and obviously I have my big rod. Hopefully I'll be getting a second one. I did, if you guys saw in the beginning part of the video on the beach, I showed you my sand spike. Well, that exact same day, when I went to pull that sand spike out of the ground, it snapped right down at the base with no pressure on it. Like, I barely put any pressure on it, and it just snapped. So I had to get a new one. This one's much nicer. I got it from Black Dog Bait and Tackle in Melbourne. There you go. You guys can see their sticker right there. It's pretty nice. It's got a little rubber piece up here at the top that protects the rod. So I got this set up. This rod actually is out probably, I would say, 150 meters out there. So we're setting up. This is something I've got set up tonight that's new. I brought my wife's kayak because it's a paddle kayak, whereas mine is a Hobie Pro Angler and it's a pedal kayak and much heavier. Brought this tonight to do some long-range bait drops, because this part of the river is very shallow, so we needed to get it out further. So that's a setup. Obviously, I got my chair set up, ready to go. I got my cooler with my bait. I got all my stuff over here. I need to get this off my chair though, so it won't stink. I got my extra batteries for my GoPro, my bag. This is where I keep all my stuff. I have my underwater camera set up here. In case I do get a shark, I can film it under the water. Then I have my night light here. This thing is awesome. It's on its own little tripod. It's also, if you saw in my filming video, it also has an output, so you can actually charge external stuff like cameras and phones and everything. Of course, I have my regular tripod, which this camera I'm filming on goes, and everything, which is great. And then last but not least, we have over here in the landing section, this is where I would be landing the sharks, bring them up on shore so I can get the hooks out or cut. I have another sand spike. This is a cheap one. I don't use this for rods. I simply use it for tools to make sure they're in the right place and easy for me to grab. I have my bolt cutters, and then I also have a hook, a de-hooker. We'll be getting a new one, a better one for sharks. This one gets my hands a little bit closer than I'd like, but it is what it is, and it does work. So that's where we go. So that's my setup for nighttime shark fishing on the rivers and the creeks here in the state of Florida, and it works really well. So yeah, that's awesome. Alright everybody, so that's going to do it for today's video. I hope these setups on how I do my shark fishing on the beach, as well as shark fishing in the river and on shoreline like that, where it's calm water, it's not on the ocean. I hope that helps, gives you some tips and tricks on some things to look for that might help you. These are kind of setups for when I do solo for the most part. The river fishing, I do that a lot with someone, and you can do it solo or you can do it on the with people. It doesn't matter. Same thing with the beach, but you know, I do things to try to make things as easy as possible for myself, and to also make sure that the sharks get released as quickly as possible and as safely as possible too, which is why I have my tools as close as possible to me and the shark, and it gives them an opportunity to get released as quickly as I can. So I hope it helps. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and until next time, I'll see you on the water. Take care. Hello everyone. If you could, I'd love for you guys to check out my father-in-law's YouTube channel. It's a YouTube channel that I also edit videos for, called Bearded Lumber. They are a full-service sawmill and kiln channel, and they are an amazing channel. I hope you guys will check them out. The link is in the description of this video, so check them out. You'll really enjoy this YouTube channel. Thank you. Thank you for watching Third Beard Fishing. Here's a video selection and a playlist suggestion, and feel free to subscribe here. Thank you.